You know what, Rev? I just want to keep that music sort of playing during the
Be
whole
bumping
podcast.
around with it, yeah.
You said, I kind of get into that. I'm going back and forth. I love
You
that.
got some moves over there, Mac.
Yeah, I was kind of getting into it, wasn't I, over here? So welcome again, man. Hi. It's good
Good to see you. I missed you.
Absolutely, yeah. I was, I took a little time off there, but we're back. We are back, and this. We've been talking a lot so far on the podcast, right? And we have been evaluating, if you will, and pointing out some of the friction, especially in Christianity, maybe theologically and doctrinally, what might be frictiony out there with people, right? I know it has been for me and for you. And so we've been sharing a lot of those stories and giving people a little bit to chew on and contemplate whether it was rubbing them the wrong way or whatever.
Well, some of the concepts we've kind of danced around them a little bit.
Right.
So as I thought about this episode tonight, I thought foundational friction. That which is our ideas that we've espoused or hinted at or thrown out over the microphone that maybe we need to explore in depth the foundation, where we're coming from, where our mindset, our consciousness, and our heart is coming from.
Yeah.
Not as a method of causing any angst, but just exploring the base by which we are operating from these microphones.
Well, I'm hoping, too, that it's going to dissipate some of the angst that already is there.
Yeah, that was my hope.
Right.
But clarify.
Yeah.
Let's clarify what we're asking of each other.
Yeah. So this will be something more practical, I'm going to call it. We're going to use that word a little bit. But we're giving some critiques, if you will, but a lot of times it's kind of like, man, that was a great idea. Wow, I love that idea. Who's going to do it? Well, not me. I just had the idea, And so this episode, we're going to just give a practical way that people can say, well, I kind of like that. Some of those things that those guys have been talking about.
Well, here's the thing. If you have an idea, or there's something bouncing around your head, I guarantee you're not the only one. There are other people at the same moment that are having that same concept, and they're looking for you as you're looking for them. And so this podcast, one of the intentions is to create a sense of community with those who are playing with ideas, which to me is creation in action.
I love it, man. You're exactly right. To let the listeners know that they're not alone in the way they think, in what's rubbing them the wrong way maybe, or what's exciting them.
Well, if you're in an
whatever.
environment that does not allow you to be creative, to question, to play with ideas, to put them out into the universe, not right or wrong, to go, this is just something that landed in my heart. Can we talk about it? It's easy to feel very alone. Because the community you're in is stifling that.
Right.
Well, there's a community out there, people that are in the same boat that are going, maybe we can find each other. And I believe there's a magnetizing happening on the consciousness on the planet that we're starting to be bold enough, courageous enough to speak these ideas out, and the magnet is increased. And we're finding each other.
Well, that's encouraging, and I believe it 100%.
I don't just believe it. I've experienced it.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I had the guts to put something out there, and four people around sitting in the grocery store heard it, and there they were.
There you go. This is sort of in the end of my
I started
notes.
to say the bar, but I went to grocery store.
Go ahead. That's my operating realm.
There are a lot of people with bouncing ideas in the bars.
Oh, I can't tell you. I love those conversations. Okay, I gravitate
The
to 'em.
inhibitions are set aside. The
This is
fear is set
true.
aside. Now, I don't recommend that you're getting drunk,
No.
but loosen up a little bit, relax a little bit, and then you can explore these ideas.
Well, that happens virtually to my wife and I every weekend, because we do that. We go out on a date and we pick our favorite places around where we live, and we go and we sit at the bar. We have a drink. We don't get drunk, but
But you have an antenna that is able to be out, a radar that's out there, and you hear conversations, you hear ideas, and they hear yours.
Right.
And it's like we're finding each other.
Well, and here's the great thing about it. If you sit at the bar, it says to the other people at the bar, you can talk to me if you want. I mean, it's just that permission that's given. Maybe not every single person, but what I've experienced, you can comment on somebody's T-shirt, you can comment on somebody's food or their drink, or
see, I've tried to live my life that way. I don't go to bars, really. Yeah. I don't need to go to the bar to live in that mindset.
Right.
I am an open book. I am a safe place to explore, to adventure, and to share.
Yeah.
And when you carry that energy vibration, people find you, and they're looking. They are actually looking for you. But you got to be the first one to say, hi, I like your T-shirt, or hey, I like your smile, or you look nice today, or whatever it might be. Find that opening. And I'm telling you, the depth of my thoughts is sometimes deeper than you get in churches.
Oh, completely. And there's also a little bit of the flip side.
There's friction.
Where, people might not respond to that very well, or they might not. I mean, I've had all kinds of reasons you can imagine.
Sure.
I don't want to get into it all, but
you can cause some friction.
You have to be ready for people to not be receptive, or if they are, now they start picking at you or whatever. I'm just
But it's also good. It's a good exercise to go, you're not my people. You're not looking for me. I'm not looking for you. Good. Have a nice day. But somebody hearing that conversation is going to come over and say, tell me more.
That's exactly what happens. It really does. It just does.
So let's get into some of these ideas.
So here we go. So I thought maybe it would be good just as we get into these things is just back up a little bit, and I'm going to hit just a few highlights. It's not going to summarize everything we've talked about, but what I think it's good to say, look, here are some of the points, some of the things that we've seen friction in as we've gone through the podcast and talked about. Things like Jesus as the great example and not the great exception. Right?
That's a big one, and that's a hard one because it's going to confront the basic theology of a lot of places. But I remember the moment I was introduced to Jesus as my way shower, my example, and he called me. He called me out into a greater expression of myself, and he said, follow me.
Yeah.
I can't find where he says, worship me.
Right.
But boy, did he call us into the light, into the greater vibration of being. And so, he is not an exception to me. He's the example.
Yes. Well, that was a eye-opening thing for me, too, because it helped me close the gap between, oh, my goodness, this guy's perfect. The whole thing, sinless, perfect. And so now, as an example for me, it didn't work. I mean,
it was an unattainable reality. Right. You will never measure up. You're never going to be good enough. So it's a system based on being broken and being stained. And I don't believe that's what Jesus wanted. He put us on a level playing field.
Yeah.
And he called us out and called us up. He didn't call us to continue to be broken.
No, so that was a biggie. Like you said, for you, that was a biggie for me. So, we're talking about
it's the beginning of oneness. Yeah. It's the beginning of creating a deeper, more intimate relationship with that Christ essence.
The Christ consciousness, that Rohr would call it, and all that stuff. It's beautiful. It opened up just a whole new vista.
Yeah, and I want to be real clear, that's not an easy journey.
No.
I had to overcome a lot of indoctrination and fear in order to get to that idea.
Yeah.
But I just opened a corner of my mind and then found others who were also open.
Exactly.
Not as against what I had been taught or what I had believed, but in addition to.
Yeah,
so I'm grateful for all of it, but I'm still evolving.
Agreed. Yes, we are. And we love, we'll focus on what he said, what he taught. And we talked about this in the in the pre-show. I'll just give an example. As we're talking to our listeners, here's some examples. We just don't want to always be out there philosophically, expounding on some things that we think. So it's this idea behind. I lost my thought.
Well, let me give you a thought that I've got as you're talking. When I go to the place of recognizing that every face I meet is the face of the Christ.
Yeah.
That to me changed my whole relationship with the divinity of life itself, of Jesus, of the Christ. And I began to see people differently because it was a system based on oneness and connection and relationship, not duality and separation and impossibility.
Well, that has so much of a ripple effect. So I'll think of whatever it was I was thinking
It'll hit you about 3 o'clock this morning.
You're right, yeah, or maybe toward the end of the podcast. So, I know what it was. I remember I was telling you in the pre-show that there was this idea that, well, without the resurrection, there would be no Christianity. We were talking about this in the pre-show.
Yeah.
And when I heard that first time, I was like, why is
friction?
Yeah, friction. You're exactly. And so, well, wait a minute. What about all the good stuff he said? He said, follow me, listen to me, follow my teachings, do greater things than I have done relationally. How do you communicate? You have to communicate. It's talking, right? But then you hit the nail on the head.
The Roman Empire,
Yeah.
that put him to death, saw, holy mackerel, there was something good here. What have we done? Hey, maybe we can use this as a marketing ploy. So Christianity, as we know it today, is a creation of the Roman Empire, the power structure that used this beautiful story of which Christianity has become and sold it.
Yeah.
But, they were a supposed enemy of Christianity. I don't know how you would phrase that, but used it because they saw a means to an end, and that was power and money and control.
Well, yeah, that went on today still, all right, but
Sure.
I'm just saying. But what they also needed to do, think about that, in the ancient times, all the way back even further than the Roman Empire, all right, deities of all kinds of personality, of all kinds of flavors, right? Everybody had their own kind of deal going. So the minute you had a new idea, you had a new philosophy, you had a new way to look at life, if you didn't deify whoever was running the show or however it came to be, you weren't going to be able to compete in that environment.
Yeah, well, and then what you do is you steal the qualities of the last deity, you steal the rituals of the last religion, and you make it your own. It's absolutely a smart manipulative tactic.
Oh, man.
But it does happen. The story of a virgin birth and three wise men coming and resurrection and crucifixion, it's an ancient story. Now, I'm not questioning that it happened, because it happens every day in my life. I die to who I have been to become who I will be. But the reality is, it's a lot of borrowed religion used in order to control the masses.
Because it could resonate.
And it doesn't mean it doesn't have value. Let me get real clear. It has incredible value to save our lives.
At the time.
Well, at the time and today, you know, and we keep evolving. We keep moving forward. We keep learning. We keep growing. We keep dying to the old self so that something new can happen. A new idea, a new thought, a new paradigm.
Well, there it is. It's the let what needs to go, keep what needs to be kept,
right,
and welcome what needs to come.
So I want to be real clear. Don't throw Jesus out here. Jesus is my guy. He's my guy, and the Christ is the essence I am so connected to through many other religious lenses, but of all roads lead to that Christ essence and consciousness.
That up, man. I just can't, all right? So, you know, we also talked about a capricious God, right? that we've always looked, at least in the realm that we've run in, that God has a personality, picks and chooses and blesses and
gets
curses.
Pissed off.
Yeah, that's exact. I mean, all of that kind of human sort of, you know, actions and feelings and all of that. And so now you build up a whole thing about, well, and it's ancient. What are we going to do to keep the God happy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's since day one.
Well, and, you know, we've gotten rid of animal sacrifice as a means of appeasing the gods. We've overcome that. But I believe that what we've done is we've replaced the animals with parts of ourselves. Our thought process, our soul, and our heart has been sacrificed on the altar of just going along. Lockstep with what I've been taught, so I sacrifice that thought that's bouncing around my head. I don't express it, so I sacrifice it on the altar. Well, in the name of my God.
Rob, that's awesome, man. I love
So
that.
no new thought comes in. No thought is allowed. I just take it to the altar and sacrifice it in honor of the God that my grandfather taught me.
Oh, man. I got to weave that in all along the way. I love that, okay? So that's kind of how we were discussing it in some points, you know, looking at God through that filter.
Yep.
And what does it do?
That's
What's the
foundational
ramifications?
to our belief system.
Okay. Then we also have to look at the Bible. I mean, the Bible's critical, it's foundational, it's crucial. And we haven't done a whole episode yet on the Bible. No. But we've talked, you know, not around, but it's been snippets in there about how that has centered into faith and theology. And it's it's the way we look at it today is fairly new. I mean, in completeness, all right? And you want to go back to that statement that, all Scripture is God-breathed and useful for teaching, correcting, and training in righteousness, But when that was written, first of all, there was a Bible. First of all, I mean,
right.
When he wrote that. And secondly, we've taken that to such a place that we haven't filtered it through culture, right? We filter it through the time that it was written in the culture.
Right.
We're willing to do that, all right? But we're not willing to say, well, that was then, and they framed it that way in that culture in that time. And so let's go to the Rob Bell thing that says, look, let's get past a lot of these hang-ups, and let's just ask the one question, why is it there? Why is that story there?
Why is it relevant today?
Exactly.
And it is. It's relevant as it was 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
And it will be relevant 100 years from now. But we have to have different eyes and different ears and different soul in order to receive the good.
Yes. And we got to be willing. We're talking all around. We got to be willing to do that, okay? And then, yes, we did talk, and I think we've already hit on it, but I'll just, a God who needs, like you were saying, a sacrifice to atone for sins, and we have heaven and we have hell. And again, Rob Bell steps back and he goes, what kind of God is that? Okay, so we talked around all of that.
I've had some days where I was in and out of heaven, and then into hell, and then back to heaven, and back to hell again, sometimes 10 times in one day, and I realized I was the one responsible for it, not God putting me there, or not punishing me or blessing me. It was what was going on between my ears was causing me either a place of separation, which would be hell, or a place of at-one-ment, at a place of unity.
Yes, yeah. And whose choice was that again?
Bingo, responsible.
Hello. Okay. So, that's, and, the funny thing is the heaven and hell thing too, we talked a little bit about this culturally, that we as a culture, not just Americans, I'm talking about globally throughout history, we need for some reason to have a us and them. It's just so much easier to live life when we can blame them, we can point fingers at them, that they aren't like us, and we can huddle up in our own. And I don't mean I'm just not talking about society today. I mean, this has been going on for a long, long time in history. And look at what it's done to the world in general. It's horrible.
Well, is this the proverbial fall from grace in the Garden of Eden? We started to believe an idea of us and them, good and bad, the knowledge of good and evil. We just made it up. There are good people and bad people,
right?
Those who belong and those who don't belong. This is a imagination of the human ego and not anything to do with God. And going back to the garden, to the place of peace, is to recognize we're all in this together. We're all trying to figure it out together. I don't make you my enemy. Any story that has to have an enemy needs to die.
Well, and the biggest enemy in the garden, as it came out of the garden, the biggest enemy became God.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't even about, at that point, you and me, all right? Other than Eve going, Adam did it, and
everybody's blaming everybody else for who's responsible.
And then it was the serpent, and then it was, all the fingers started getting pointed. But at its core, until Cain, Abel and all that, it was God. Now God chose to separate because supposedly we chose the separation. I mean, it's ludicrous. You run through your brain and you try to figure all this out.
Well, you're trying to understand really deep concepts of who we are organically and naturally at a spiritual level. If you try to read that literally, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes God look not so good. It makes humans not look so good. It's just our journey back to ourselves. The garden is within us. The sense of connection, there is goodness present, whether we've remembered it or forgotten it at all times.
Yeah.
And it's the human. If there's a serpent in the story, it is the human ego that needs to be special and make you the enemy.
Well, we're already speaking to how we might want to change this story as we live our life and give some examples. But all right,
Well, and it's not easy to do. Let me tell you, there's nothing. I have days I watch the news and go up. I have at least 5 enemies on that newscast. I need to clean my thinking up.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that we've been talking about, right? And then I just want to do a couple of little snippets. I'm reading a book right now from John Spong, right? And it's about Christianity. The name of the book is Christianity Must Change or Die. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go quite that far with his premise, all right? But the point of it is that he points out a lot of this stuff that if, in his opinion, and we're talking about a lot of the same stuff, all right? So in his opinion, Christianity, I would say, is losing its relevance. It will lose its ability and its power to impact and influence the community and the world for good. It's just going to continue to become more and more irrelevant to the current culture and all that kind of stuff. So I just, couple quotes here. I just thought I just pulled them out because I got a ton of them. All right?
Bring them on. I love John Shelby Spong.
He's amazing. All right. So two of them, that's all I got. The Bible portrays the God of antiquity. There's the key word, all right? Antiquity as acting in ways that violate both our knowledge and our sensibilities today. Right? We've already been talking about this around and around, right? But we come to realize it worked then because that was the world, just like we've been talking about. We need a sacrifice, we need a deity, we need,
Yeah, well, we met people, spirituality, religion, God, whatever you want to call it, met people at the level of their understanding. Right. But our level of understanding has increased. We have amplified and increased the wisdom on the planet tremendously in every other area but religion. Yeah, but there are people, but the pockets of people are suppressed. They're put down. Don't change there. Don't evolve there. And so there is an antiquated mindset behind a lot of religion. Again, not bad, but we need to evolve in our understanding.
Yeah. Antiquity means antiquity.
Antiquated for sure. And my sensibility says this doesn't make sense, and it's okay. You have permission to say this doesn't jive right. Something's not sitting right. Let's explore this.
Yes, and you can't let them say, well, it's not about it making sense for you. It's about the truth, and whether you resonate with it or you don't, that's your problem.
But let's wrestle together. How wonderful is it a journey back to the garden? What are you playing with in your mind?
Yeah.
Let's sit with it. Oh, that's a little uncomfortable for me. But let's explore that some more. And when we explore together, I believe we're 1, 2, 3 steps back to remembering the truth of our oneness, of our essence as God essence of beings, finding our way home.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't come in that conversation with the people that are going, well, our ultimate expectation here is to get back. We got to get back there. I just need to make sure you see that, yes, we were out here, but it's ultimately going to curve itself back and move itself back to that truth that we tried to get away from in the beginning. Okay?
And that dialogue and conversation will never happen. The minute it goes, no, you're wrong. Nope, don't do that. That's evil. Your thought is evil.
Slope.
No, wait a minute. God gave me a brain. Gave me the intuitive faculty to think outside the box, to explore more of this beautiful garden, and then it gets shut down by religious systems. No, don't question. You're rocking the boat. Be quiet.
God's way bigger than that.
Exactly. Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, me too. All right, so that was one of his quotes. And here's another one of his quotes, and you've really already said this. We're just going to put it in his words. I hope there will be among those who will read or hear these words, and again, the book, all right, and what comes before this. I will hope those who read or hear these words, a significant group of people who are willing to walk by the side of those of us who yearn to be believers, but who find ourselves in exile. I loved that word. Who find ourselves in exile from the forms in which that faith has been proclaimed by the church throughout the ages. Exile. I loved that. He used that analogy of, we're breaking from the norm and we're exiles now. We're going through the desert.
Which is why most people don't even entertain the idea of, well, let me think something different. Let me offer something different to the environment because I will be banished.
Right.
You are banished from the love of my heart and this religion and God.
Yeah, right. You're going to die of thirst out there. Right. Yeah. It's your choice, but God gives you free will.
Well, but when you talk about being exiled, I have been exiled from people's hearts. And it's like, I don't believe in Jesus, a Jesus that would do that. I don't believe in a deity that would ever banish me from its existence if it created me. I am its child. I am the offspring of that divine wisdom or intelligence. It's going to banish me, yet we as human beings banish people. You're no longer welcome here because you're not walking lockstep the way I think you should. And the good news in this writing is they're out there.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to.
But we have to be gutsy and heroic enough to go. Let me just put my toe in the water and see.
Right. Well, let's talk about where you might find some of those people. There's certainly, whatever. Okay.
Besides the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. All right. But there's places out there that are havens, that are thinking like we're thinking, that act in ways that are perfect, all right? We didn't get it all figured out, but that are a haven, that are a place where you can find, I call them the red pill and the blue pill people, right? Most of us are taking the blue pill. We're just same old, we're the Matrix, we're just in the Matrix.
And that choice is okay. I'm not faulting that choice if that's the choice you want to make.
Just who you are. But understand, I truly believe, and I have seen, wherever your realm is for the most part, there's going to be some red pill people.
Yes.
Okay? So don't be afraid of taking that red pill, and it might seem like you're all by yourself at first, all right? But they're, like we've been talking about, they're out there, like Spong's talking about. Yeah. They're out there.
Well, and let's just get real about history. It's red pill people that change the face of the planet, that change the mindset, the paradigm, that help us evolve as a human race.
Yes. So we need red pill people. You're going to find your people being a red pill people. And let's just talk about one avenue that we have experienced, us, and that's the unity, church, if you call it that. The unity way of taking both theology and philosophy, right? So the first part of it's going to be practical Christianity, that we can apply it practically to our life, and that we can look at the stories two ways, practically as well as impractically, right? Because I don't want to leave that out. We talked about that earlier. Because to me, if you're just totally practical, it's a checklist, it's the box, it's everything, without adding the spirit that you're never going to get a handle on, that's the impractical part of this whole thing. Put them together, right? Put them together.
It's a both and. It's left brain, it's right brain. Yeah. It's thinking, it's feeling, nature. These are necessary components for creation. So the practical and impractical are dancing together, not as enemies.
They fuel each other. You can step back from a more practical standpoint, and then you go, I just crossed into something impractical, and I like that too. Okay, I want some of that. All right. So, within the unity philosophy, and there's unity churches all over the country. All right, but we're just happen to deal. If you're in this area, this is Marietta. This is where we live.
Oh, this sounds like a great marketing ploy.
Well, I know you get to
take it.
You get to do an infomercial here. All right. So, it's I think it starts where there's a greater power to be perceived in, we call it a higher way, a different way. I don't want to make it sound like, we're higher than you're lower, and that kind of thing. No, it's just an evolved perspective that we've got on God, on Jesus, right? That, again, red pill people might be attracted to that, because that could be part of where
so many people come into the environment, and we're a small organization, relatively speaking, but they come in and go, I didn't know anybody else thought like this. Exactly. I didn't know there were places that thought this way, that encouraged me as opposed to condemned me or exiling me for having these thoughts. Can we explore?
Yes.
The founder of the Unity Movement, Charles Fillmore, said, I reserve the right to change my mind at any given time because my understanding of God is evolving. Which, as it should be. It's way bigger than we can ever get our heads around.
Ain't it great?
Yeah. But I tell you, I have a greater understanding of the universe, of God, myself, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, because I allowed myself to step into an environment that encouraged exploration and adventure.
There you go. These things like unity are out there, and there are other. Here's for me. I didn't find unity in the very beginning of my journey out. I was really alone. I felt really alone, and I didn't know where to go, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I found encouragement in books as I was reading people like Brian McLaren and Rob Bell and Richard Rohr and all kinds of different, Nadia Bolz-Weber. I mean, all these other different, people out there. And I said, well, they're like that. That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
And what I love about those authors, it's unity consciousness from a Christian base, which is good. It's holy, and that's what unity's trying. We're not throwing anything out, but we're adding to with a different look at it.
Yes. So that if that resonates with you as you're listening to this, then okay, maybe you have an avenue that you might want to check out. Right?
And it is not evil to entertain the seed or to water it once in a while. It is not evil. Let me just be real clear about that. I think God encourages us to create, to think, to continually stretch ourselves and our ability to return to the garden. Breathe.
Love it, man. So here's a good one that we talk about all the time. God in and not out. I mean, everything and everybody. That means everybody, right?
Yeah. It's a very pantheistic tradition. It's that God can be found everywhere. Not in isolated, individuals.
Is
the exceptions.
Left out of everybody?
Yeah.
No. It was a little bit of a... You had to think about that for a second, didn't you? Okay.
I had to think.
Everybody's loved beyond our wildest imagination for eternity by God.
And we cannot see that if we're operating from the human ego that needs that separation.
Yes.
Me, you, us, them, good, bad.
And out. Yep.
We'll never get to the garden, but I do believe the very avenue and doorway is to recognize that there is a spark, as Unity teaches, a spark of divinity in everyone.
Yes.
In all creation.
It's the way everything was created with that. Okay, we don't need to go find it anywhere else.
No.
All right. So there's part of who we are. Jesus is a master teacher. We talked about this a little bit earlier, right? Mm-hmm. But he's not the exception. He's not set on a pedestal.
He refused a throne. They wanted to put him on a throne. They wanted him to gather an army. He says, no, I'm on a level playing field with these people. Yeah. Let me meet them where they are. Yeah. Let me cross the boundaries to hold their hand, to talk to them, to connect with them.
Yeah. This is his humanity.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to look at the framework of Jesus and his consciousness. I think it's everything the Bible talked about. It's just a matter of looking at it a little differently than what we've been taught and what we've been shown for whatever reason. Okay, we don't even need to go.
There's an old country song I just love. What if Jesus came back like that? And that we think, Jesus, this is in our box where we put him. But I think if we open up that box a little bit, we see that Jesus, the second, third, fourth coming has already come. It's already here and it's among us and we've missed it.
Yeah. And quit sitting on the mountaintop with the tinfoil hat. All right. We just got to get away from that mentality. All right. All right, this goes back to Fox's original blessing versus original sin, all right? Mm-hmm. That when you begin to look at the world, people at all, as inherently good, God said it was very good. Now, that was before the fall story and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I get that, all right? But it didn't change, all right? Circumstances might have come in and come out, but that core creation of God in absolute love, he couldn't possibly create people.
See, what I teach and what I believe
from him
is that God is love, and love is all there is. Therefore, we are love at some level, and we have forgotten. Yeah. So we're all on a process. We've all have forgotten. We've all fallen from grace, and we're all on a process of remembering, and that remembering can be expanded and increased and accelerated when we just sit down and talk to each other. I don't like the way you're acting, but I know that there's good somewhere, and I'm going to be like a dog with a bone to try and find it. Right. Doesn't mean that I accept your behavior. Right. And right now, you watch the news, I can give you 5 examples of people that I'm struggling to find the good here. Uh-huh. But the reality is my spiritual path and the unity path is keep looking. Yeah. Don't give up, because then you give all the power away to behavior. Yes. And not the truth.
And so it's a journey, and it's not easy all the time, but hopefully you can look in the mirror and say, it's getting better. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
More and more.
Progress.
Right? I'm just getting it more and more. And the other word that we've used a lot of times in these conversations is we're backing and forth, and then this and that. And that's interject the word maybe. Just inject the word maybe into the conversation instead of the word no.
Yeah. Right. Can I entertain? Can I consider? Can I just for a moment suspend and be present?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're required to do, or we're going to be repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. And this sense of dualism that is dominating the world, we're going to destroy ourselves.
Well, I think that's the word, in my opinion, that the listeners, if you're resonating at all with this, but pushing back at certain things, going, use the word maybe. Just entertain.
And it's okay to push back.
Yeah.
The friction is okay, but just give yourself that maybe.
Right.
Well, maybe there's something to this before I suspend I put my foot down and say, no, you're wrong, you're evil, you're bad.
Immediately, exactly. So, inherently good. And then, again, understand that in the unity, realm, it's head and heart. Yeah. That we're encouraged to have a philosophy that's more heady, if you will, and then we're perfectly okay and encourage the heart, the spirit, the oneness, the unity, those things that are beyond. We use words, but
and what it's talking about is the divine masculine and divine feminine within all of us.
Yes.
It says in Scripture, male and female, we created them alike. That wasn't men and women. That was within us, thinking and feeling nature.
Yes.
They must be in partnership, dance together for us to create. And when you suspend one over the other, a heart-driven society without the brain is in trouble.
That is.
A head-driven society without the heart is also in trouble. Let's find the balance and the harmony.
Well, hopefully we're working at finding that balance again and again and again, over and over, progressively, and I feel really good about that. It was a place for me to be able to say, that works for me. That's the kind of God of my understanding. And I didn't have to check my brain at the door, so I got a chance to just press into it all. And again, nothing's perfect, okay? We don't want to try to paint a picture here. But if you're resonating, if you're listening to us and you're resonating with all or part of anything that we're saying here about going on that journey outside the box, then unity, again, depends on where you live. Maybe you can find one around you. Keep poking around, keep looking around. There are some places where you can begin to explore those possibilities.
And explore the idea of purple. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, put them together. It's a both-and reality, and experience purple.
Purple. So we're going to leave you with purple. Gang, we've been looking forward to kind of tying some of this together in a practical way.
I hope this has helped.
All right. And just, giving some encouragement that says, you're not alone.
Yep.
That's the biggest message I think that we're trying to say here. Find some things out there. It might be just something like I did with reading. You might find some people that you can, like you're talking about, that get your antennas up, and hopefully you'll find a place of a gathering, right, that you can then begin to, unleash that in a whole different way as well. So we encourage you in it. You're welcome to contact us. We're happy to share our experiences in greater depth and invite you over to just, check it out. Or if you're close to another one, go over there. We encourage you in that. But thanks for listening. Thanks for entertaining maybe something that's a little bit different. Thanks for sharing some of the different stuff, Rev.
That's the key. Just listen and keep listening to yourself and to the world.
Absolutely. So thank you, brother.
Thank you.
It's good stuff. So with that, we leave with an encouragement, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.